all cried out Epstein Island. And I went, oh, okay. Now I understand what we're up against.
Some things are so disturbing that once you hear them, they stay in your mind forever. A single sentence, a single interview. Sometimes that's all it takes to start a storm of questions people can't ignore anymore.
Is just the beginning of this whole thing. It's an 8-armed octopus, and if you take just out, that arm will grow back. You have to take the head.
And for many viewers, that moment happened when Jim Caviezel began speaking openly about what he believes powerful people have tried to hide for years. It wasn't during a movie scene. It wasn't part of a scripted performance. It was a real conversation, raw, emotional, and deeply uncomfortable.
You know they eat babies. That is not bullshit. It's true.
So it's not.
Caviezel looked straight into the camera and talked about the darkness he believes exists behind some of the most powerful circles in the world. He spoke about children being trafficked. He spoke about networks of wealth and influence. And he spoke about the disturbing rumors surrounding one of the most infamous scandals of modern times, the story of Jeffrey Epstein. For years, Epstein's private island became a symbol of unanswered questions, a place surrounded by secrecy, wealth, and connections to some of the most powerful people on the planet.
The guys would come up, and they were, right in front of us, ask us if we wanted niñas or niños, and little boys or little girls.
But what truly shocked people wasn't just the crimes Epstein was accused of. It was the whispers that came afterward, the theories, the claims that something even darker might have been happening behind closed doors. Among the most controversial rumors are claims about so-called youth secrets, disturbing ideas suggesting that powerful elites were obsessed with staying young at any cost.
Everyone was told, from Rupert Murdoch and Fox to every studio, look, if you touch this thing, you will be out, you will be done. You'll be finished in 3 years.
These claims spread quickly online, especially after Epstein's case exploded into global headlines.
Not a dollar has been wasted.
But here's the thing. Separating facts from speculation has never been easy. And when Caviezel started speaking about these topics publicly, the internet erupted. Some people believed he was exposing a hidden truth. Others believed he was repeating dangerous rumors. Either way, the conversation exploded, and suddenly millions of people started asking the same haunting question. What really happened on Epstein's Island?
There was a separate kitchen on her property, stainless steel, private entrance, no security cameras inside.
To understand why Caviezel's words caused such a powerful reaction, you have to understand who he is and why his voice carries weight for so many people. Before controversy ever followed him, Jim Caviezel was known as one of Hollywood's most respected actors. His career reached a global audience when he portrayed Jesus in the 2004 film The Passion of the Christ. The movie was intense, emotional, and unforgettable. It became one of the most talked about films in the world. For Caviezel, that role changed everything. Overnight, he became a recognizable face across the planet. But instead of chasing bigger Hollywood fame, he often chose projects that focused on faith, morality, and deeper social issues. Many people admired him for that. Others thought he was walking away from opportunities most actors would fight to keep.
She believed consumption was transformation, that youth could be taken in, that vitality could be absorbed. She talked about ancient rites, about elites throughout history who understood what the masses didn't.
But Caviezel never seemed interested in fitting into Hollywood's typical mold. He spoke openly about his beliefs. He talked about protecting children, and he often warned about what he believed were dark forces operating behind powerful institutions. Then came the film Sound of Freedom. The movie focused on the real-life work of former government agent Tim Balland, who claimed to have helped rescue children from trafficking networks in Latin America. The story itself was intense and emotional.
Once you shared that secret, whatever you believed you'd consumed, you are bound to the group. No one betrays a circle that can destroy them.
But the journey to get the film released was almost as dramatic as the story inside it.
I believe it's going to move a lot of whistleblowers to come forward, but not one. In the hundreds, maybe thousands of them worldwide start coming forward and telling the truth of what's really going on.
For years, the movie struggled to find distribution. Studios passed on it. Some executives reportedly felt the topic was too controversial or difficult to market. When it finally reached theaters, it sparked passionate debates around the world. Supporters said it was raising awareness about a horrific global crime. Critics worried the film could fuel conspiracy theories surrounding trafficking.
Oprah Winfrey there with him, who entered the room and was swinging off his arm and just seemed like a very dear friend. And these, like Oprah, Naomi, Rita, and Georgina, they all sat at his table. And for me, meeting Oprah was like, oh my God, like I would have thought that I would have to be someone who's established, who everyone would have had to know about before I was privileged enough to meet someone like Oprah. So that gave me so much confidence in him at the time when he approached me.
And right in the middle of that storm was Jim Caviezel, giving interviews that quickly spread across the internet. During those interviews, Caviezel began referencing the Epstein scandal. He spoke about what he believed were elite networks involved in exploitation. He described disturbing rumors about powerful people seeking ways to maintain youth or vitality through unethical means. It's important to be clear about something here. Many of the most extreme claims circulating online about Epstein's Island, including stories about biological harvesting or youth rituals, have never been proven by credible investigations. Law enforcement investigations into Epstein did uncover horrific crimes involving the trafficking and abuse of underage girls. That fact alone shocked the world.
Go to bed, wear white, just wear everything is white. Well, drink the water, take the herb.
But the more sensational claims that spread online remain unverified and widely disputed. Still, the mystery surrounding Epstein created an environment where speculation grew rapidly, and Caviezel's emotional warnings only intensified public curiosity. To understand why the Epstein story still captures global attention, you have to go back to the moment when everything started unraveling. For years, Epstein was a wealthy financier with powerful friends. His social circle included billionaires, politicians, academics, and celebrities. Many people saw him as just another wealthy figure moving comfortably through elite circles.
She didn't go through hell for nothing. We'll get it out there.
But in 2019, the illusion collapsed. Federal prosecutors charged Epstein with trafficking underage girls. Survivors described horrifying experiences involving manipulation, abuse, and intimidation. The world suddenly realized something terrifying. Epstein had allegedly been operating in plain sight for years. Then came another twist that stunned the public.
That crash wasn't random. It was a hit to shut her up. And the poison started way before, in her relationship with Ellen.
While awaiting trial in a New York jail cell, Epstein died. Authorities ruled the death a suicide, but the circumstances raised countless questions. Security cameras malfunctioned, guards failed to perform regular checks, and Epstein's death meant he would never stand trial or reveal what he knew. Almost overnight, the scandal became one of the most controversial mysteries in modern history.
85,000 children crossed the border this last year and disappeared. Where did they disappear to?
People wanted answers. They wanted to know who else had been involved. They wanted to know how someone accused of such crimes had maintained powerful connections for decades. And most importantly, they wanted justice for the victims. As documents connected to Epstein's legal cases were gradually released, the public saw lists of names connected to his social network. But appearing in those documents does not mean a person committed a crime. Many names appeared simply because they had attended social events, been mentioned in testimonies, or had professional interactions with Epstein.
I know that the saints in heaven wish to be on this earth right now because there are far more people on this earth than there's ever been. And there are far more souls to save right now than there ever has been.
Still, the sheer number of influential connections fueled public suspicion. People began questioning how such a system could operate for so long. That's where Caviezel's message found a receptive audience. He spoke passionately about protecting children and exposing exploitation. He argued that powerful institutions sometimes fail to confront uncomfortable truths. And when he referenced Epstein's Island in interviews, millions of viewers leaned forward, wondering if he knew something the public didn't. But here's the twist that many people overlook. Caviezel wasn't presenting documented evidence about secret youth experiments or biological harvesting. Instead, he was expressing his belief that trafficking networks are larger and darker than most people realize. Those beliefs resonated with some audiences, especially people already suspicious of elite power structures. But experts investigating trafficking warn that sensational claims can sometimes distract from the real, documented problem. Human trafficking is a devastating global crime. Millions of people, including children, are exploited every year through forced labor and sexual abuse. Fighting that crime requires careful investigations, international cooperation, and support systems for survivors. When the issue becomes mixed with extreme rumors, it can make serious investigations harder. Still, the emotional weight of the Epstein scandal cannot be ignored. For survivors who came forward, the trauma was real. Their stories described manipulation, fear, and powerful individuals who seemed untouchable. Hearing those testimonies shook public confidence in institutions that were supposed to protect the vulnerable. And that's why the story continues to haunt the public imagination, because the Epstein case revealed something deeply disturbing about power and accountability. Wealth and influence can sometimes create environments where victims struggle to be heard. Careers can be destroyed for speaking out. Reputations can silence uncomfortable questions. For people like Caviezel, that silence is exactly what worries them. He often speaks about a culture of fear, a system where individuals inside powerful industries hesitate to challenge authority because they fear losing everything. Whether people agree with him or not, his message taps into a growing global frustration with powerful institutions. People want transparency. They want justice. They want assurance that exploitation cannot hide behind money and influence. And for the survivors of Epstein's crimes, the emotional scars remain. Many of them spent years trying to be believed. Some faced intimidation and legal battles that lasted decades. When Epstein died before standing trial, many victims felt robbed of the chance to confront him in court. Imagine carrying that pain, knowing the person accused of harming you will never answer questions under oath. That emotional reality is what keeps this story alive. It's not just about rumors or speculation, it's about trust. Trust in systems meant to protect the vulnerable. Trust that wealth does not place someone above the law. Trust that powerful circles will not quietly bury uncomfortable truths. Caviezel's voice became one of many calling attention to those fears. Some people see him as courageous, others see him as controversial.
But the deeper conversation he's part of goes far beyond one actor or one interview. It's about society confronting the darker side of power, because the Epstein scandal forced the world to admit something uncomfortable. Even the wealthiest and most connected environments can hide terrible crimes. And when those crimes finally surface, they shake public confidence in everything. The truth is, the full story of Epstein's network may never be completely known. Investigations uncovered serious crimes and brought some accountability, but the death of the man at the center of it all left countless questions unanswered. And unanswered questions have a strange power. They linger, they grow, they inspire speculation, debate, and sometimes fear. But one fact remains beyond debate: child exploitation and trafficking are real crimes, affecting millions of people worldwide. Behind every headline are real victims whose lives were permanently changed. Their voices are the most important part of this story. Not rumors, not internet theories, not political arguments. Real survivors who deserve justice, protection, and support. And maybe that's the most important lesson of all. Because while the world argues about what happened behind the gates of Epstein's Island, the real fight continues everywhere, in courts, in investigations, and in the lives of survivors still trying to rebuild their futures. The mystery may never fully disappear. The debates may continue for years, but the responsibility to protect the vulnerable is something that cannot wait for answers. And as long as questions remain, people will keep searching for the truth.